going on, guys? Welcome to Charge It Up. In today's video, we're going to be doing the first oil change on the R6. The first oil change is good to do at the recommended interval time set in your owner's / service manual on this particular R6, which is the 2020 model. However, from 2017 to 2020, it's pretty much the same. And to be completely honest with you, it's going to be the same for all R6s out there. And that'll be the first service to be done at the 1,000 kilometer mark or 600 mile mark. Get this oil change done. Make sure that we check all our cables, our signals. We'll do some adjustments just to make sure all the bolts and everything are nice and tight, just like a dealer would actually do your first service for you. And then we'll put it back on the road. All right, what are we gonna be using for today? Well, we're gonna be using the oil change kit by Yamaha Lube. So this is the 10W40 Performance Synthetic. It's a full synthetic blend. What this container actually comes with is right here. We got 3 liters of Yamaha Lube 10W40 4-stroke. Then we've got the oil filter, the genuine Yamaha oil filter. So comes with the paper funnel as well, the washer for the drain bolt, gloves, and then the generic instruction manual for motorcycle oil changes. Alright, so first thing that we need to do to the R6 to get it ready for the oil change. Number 1, we're going to start her up, run her between 3 to 5 minutes. Number 2, we're going to take out the fairing, the left side fairing, because the oil drain plug is right over here and the filter is right behind this part right here. And number 3, we're going to have to take off the shift shaft right there. We'll take that off. Just a quick little bolt right there, pops right out. And then we'll be able to get at the oil filter behind it. All right, so now that we got the left panel off, you can actually see in behind it now, obviously. So there is the oil filter, and then the drain plug is right over there. All you would mostly need is a oil drain pan, which will fit under the bike, just to be able to catch all the oil coming off from the oil filter and the drain plug. So what I'm able to do on my end, not only because I have the lift and it's up in the air so I can reach underneath, what I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna take the rear stand and I'm gonna raise the back of it, which will actually then give me more space underneath to put in my oil drain pan, which is about 6 inches higher, so it actually won't fit unless the rear is put up in the air. Alright, so while the bike is on, guys, it's actually a good thing to go through the bike just to make sure that all your lights are working. It's good to just have a good sense of making sure everything is working on your bike. And it's actually a good time to do this now, only because at least this time, while the bike is warming up for you to do your oil change, you can just double check that everything is working properly. Then you see the rear lights. Again, I am in my garage. Make sure you're in a ventilated area when the bike is on. I've got this fan actually pushing the exhaust sort of out of the garage, but I'll be okay on this end. So that's the left signal there. Then we'll come over here. We'll do the right signal as well. As you can see, it is working up there. We'll walk back around here. I can see that the signal is working on the dash and that it's actually working on the back end as well. So while I'm doing this, actually you can also check the brakes. Really easy to check the brakes, as you can see a little flash on the side, but I will show you right there that it is working. And then we can check the rear brake as well, so that is working properly. You can see that the headlight is working. That is the headlight, the daytime running light, and then we've got the high beam that comes on right there. So that is also working. All right, now that the bike is warmed up, I have taken the rear stand, put it underneath the rear wheel, lifted it up on the lift, which will give me enough space now to pull the oil drain pan underneath. So now what we'll do now is I will put the camera down and then I will loosen the bolt, let the oil out. And as we're doing that, we're actually gonna go around the bike and we're just gonna check the different bolts and nuts here just to make sure everything's still nice and snug, that it hasn't come loose from the vibrations or anything like that. Alright, so we're gonna let that drain for a little bit here. Alright, what we're gonna do next, still draining, we're gonna actually take out the oil filter. So I'm gonna grab the wrench for the bolt up here, loosen this off, and then we'll pull this out just to be able to get at the oil filter. Put that bolt back in just so you don't lose it. We're gonna put this out of the way like that, or get these hoses out of the way for now. And we are ready to get the oil filter out. So now we've got the oil filter out, sitting on the oil drain pan, and we're gonna let the oil drain out a tiny bit more. As you can see, there's still some coming out. What I'm actually going to do is, since I have the rear stand on and the bike is lifted up, or the rear is lifted up, I'm actually just gonna clean and lube the chain. You should do this on a regular basis. I'll grab the oil filter out of the package, genuine Yamaha filter here. Then we'll take off the plastic covering. So as you do that, as you get on these, you can actually see, I don't know if you can, but these are actually pre-oiled, a bit of oil already on it from factory. But I do dab on the top of the oil pan just to get a bit of oil, and then I'll just go around the rim of the oil seal. Now we'll grab our oil filter tool, which I've had for quite a while. That in there. And so what we'll do right now is we'll slide it on by hand. We'll grab our wrench. Now, remember that this does not need to be cranked on there. That's just nice and snug. That is enough. So now we've done that, hoses back to where they were, and then we'll take the shift shaft right here and we'll put it back on its place and put the bolt back on. We'll put the old drain plug back in, but before we do that, I'm gonna grab the new drain washer. Drain bolt right there. As you can see, just on the lip right there is the old washer. We'll pry that off with a screwdriver, and then we'll put the new washer on as we're putting it back in. All right, so now we've got the new washer on here. This is the old one. This is the old one right there. And now what we'll do is we'll just put it right back on. So at first, I'm just gonna make it nice and snug by hand, and then we'll remove the oil pan so we can get under it and actually turn it down to the specific torque that it needs to be. The size 17 socket, we'll put it on our torque wrench, and we will actually torque this to 32 foot-pounds as specified in the owner's manual. So now that we got that torque down, we will put the shift arm back on, and we'll torque that down as well. I believe that is 7 foot-pounds according to the owner's manual as well. Once you've done all that, you put the oil filter back on, and you're like, wait a second, how do I put the shift arm back on to make sure that's properly aligned and that you're shifting properly? Because obviously this guy's can't go anywhere, right? So very easy to actually put back. As you can see right here, let me see if I can zoom in here. On the actual bolt right here, there's a line that goes across horizontally right in the middle. That is exactly what you're gonna line up the slot right here in the actual arm. So what you'll do now is we'll line this up right there. And as you can see, it goes on pretty easy once you have that lined up, because the splines and everything lined up right there. And then we'll grab a bolt and tighten that up to 7 foot-pounds. So now we've got the drain plug torqued down, and we've got the shift arm back in place, torqued down as well. We're good to actually now put on the fairings all together. But at first, before I do that, I'm actually gonna walk over to the other side, and we're gonna actually put in the new oil. And how we're gonna do that is obviously the oil fill plug right here. We can unscrew that, put that down there for a second. This is our dipstick right here, so this is how we're gonna check the oil level. Not sure why Yamaha still doesn't have a sight on the crankcase, just makes it so much easier instead of having a dipstick. But I mean, it is what it is. All right, now we're ready to fill the bike with oil. So what I like to do is I like to put a cloth right around it, just in case, you know, they got some spillage. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the oil back in. It's gonna be 2.6 liters with the oil filter, because we did replace the oil filter. All right, so what we're gonna do now is actually, now we've put the oil in, we put 2.6 liters in. It's on a level surface. It is upright. Make sure it is upright when you're doing it. Otherwise, you could get a false reading. So what I'll do now is I'll put the cap on right now, just hand tight, and then we'll turn the bike on. We'll let it run for several minutes, let it warm up. We'll let the oil filter get some oil going through it, and we'll check the dipstick to make sure that the levels are correct.
A few minutes later.
All right, so we've ran the bike for several minutes, let it warm up. Now what we've done is we've actually let it sit for a minute or two, just so the oil settles down. And what we're gonna do now is we'll check the dipstick, make sure the levels are good, and we'll finish off this oil change. We'll clean this off to get a proper reading. Very simple, maximum, minimum amount for the oil, so anywhere in between there is good. I like to have it obviously in the middle. Put it back in there, go down to the end of the thread, and then we'll take it out and see what our oil level is at. So took it out here, and as you can see, I'm not sure, yeah, you can see it right there. We are, put that rag down right there. So we are right around, so that is good. So we are good to go, good oil level. We'll tighten this back down. Don't have to torque it, just hand tight. And then what we'll do is, obviously we haven't tightened this down, we just take this and hand tight that one down as well. And that's it right there. Put the fairing back on the left-hand side, clean everything up because there's some oil drops here and there, and then we'll go for a ride. All right guys, that's it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. Remember to dispose of your old oil properly. Don't be that guy. You know which guy I'm talking about. Put some comments down below what you guys thought about this video. If you like this video, hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, guys, for more videos on the R6 and on the Model X. Obviously no oil changes on the Model X. Super awesome, convenient about that. Yes, that is still coming for the exhaust. I know a couple of you have been waiting for that. So have I, to be honest. Still waiting for one more piece that's apparently stuck out in Vancouver for who knows what reason. But that's it for now, guys.